We live in a beautiful place, but one thing we have to watch out for on a pretty regular basis is avalanche danger. According to the United States Northwest Avalanche Center, Colorado has the highest rate of reported avalanche fatalities in any state in the country. We read about avalanche patrol on the Vail Pass road signs, and we hear patrol blasting for avalanches in the mornings on powder days. But this term, a group of Vail Mountain School students decided to take a closer look at these natural destructive forces that we live amongst.
The first person we spoke to was an avalanche expert, Mike Duffy. Mike has been an avalanche educator for more than 10 years and has worked as a consultant for many different organizations, including Colorado Avalanche Information Center. We questioned him about why the 2012 season was posing such a problem in the Colorado backcountry.
90% of the avalanches are triggered by you or someone in your group. You can't always rely on your brain because avalanches aren't 100% predictable. So the three key tools are the beacon, the shovel, and the probe. But good decision making and the education is the most important part. And many people have the beacon and they just wear it, but they really don't know how to use it. So it's a risk versus reward. And what gets people in trouble is we've had a very lean winter as far as powder days, and they get so excited about powder that they disregard the avalanche. 5 signs of instability. Significant snowfall in the last 24 to 48 hours, an inch an hour of snow or more an hour, collapsing or cracking in the snowpack. When the snowpack collapses or whoops, that means there's a layer within the snowpack that can't support your weight. If you see cracking, that means the avalanche is more likely to propagate out. Wind, the wind takes snow from one side of the mountain to the other and creates slabs and denser snow on top of looser snow. And then you have recent avalanches. When you start seeing recent natural avalanches, it's a sign of instability. Fastest, and it's one is being familiar with the terrain. I've never seen this avalanche, okay, so I don't think it does avalanche. Well, the snowpack changes every year. Number 2 is acceptance, taking more risk because you want people to like you. Sounds silly, but what happens when someone pulls out a GoPro? People tend to take a little more risk. C is commitment, not changing your plans according to the danger. E is expert halo, the wrong person is making the decisions. Okay. T is tracks and scarcity. Let's say it's all tracked out inbounds at the ski resort. You look over the rope and you see, hey, this is untracked. You're taking more risk because you want power. And the last one is S, is social facilitation. The presence of other people, even if they're not in your group, gives you this sense of security. Also, if I'm going into the backcountry and I see you coming out of the backcountry and I ask, well, how are the avalanche conditions? You say, it's fine. That's what I want to hear. I don't quiz you more to find out what you actually saw, but that's what I want to hear. So those are the 5 or 6 factors that get people in trouble. And they account for about 80% of the avalanche fatalities. There have been studies done that say if there's a female in your group, you're at least 50% less likely to get caught in that.
After we interviewed Mike Duffy, we traveled to Vail Pass to do some hands-on research about this winter's snowpack.
This is us digging in the snow pit on Vail Pass. It is about 40 feet long and 5 feet deep.
Here we are looking at the snowpack in the snow pit. The first thing we had to do is examine the different layers of snow, which we marked with popsicle sticks. We sheared the walls of the snow pit with the shovel in order to conduct 3 different stability tests. We slid a snow crystal card through the different layers of snow to feel how the density changed within layers. Here we are preparing the snow pit for 3 stability tests. The first test required an isolated column the width of a shovel blade. The second test required an isolated column 60 centimeters wide and 3 feet deep. The third test was much larger and was performed on a 6 meter by 1 meter block of snow.
The first test we conducted was a shovel shear. We used this test to identify where the weak layers are in the snowpack. As you can see, this stability test failed midway down the column, which means the middle layer of the snow was the weakest. The second test is the compression tap test. We isolated the column using the snow saw and a piece of rope. Once the column was isolated, we tapped the column first from the wrist and then with the forearm.
Oh, look at it shaking.
And finally from the shoulder. The purpose of the test is to find signs of instability and propagation.
It's obviously really hard to talk.
The third and final test we conducted was the rouge block test. The first person steps on the block and flexes their knees, applying forward pressure. If the block doesn't fail, the person jumps once, twice, and finally 3 times. Our block didn't fail with my weight, so we added a second and third person for a little extra weight.
Then you're going to do a big step onto the block. Good. And then you're going to flex your knees once. Harder.
Well, I go forward, I go flying forward.
Just kind of do a jerk like that.
Okay.
Okay, that's a knee flex. And then she's going to do one jump in the air.
In this case, the snowpack was very weak and unstable.
That constitutes fit.
This is the probe, and this is what you use to find your friends if they are buried in an avalanche. This is a snow card. You use it to identify snow crystals.
This is a backcountry shovel, used to dig our pit, shear the walls, and perform our tests.
This is an avalanche beacon. When you ski in the backcountry, your beacon should be in transmit mode. It can be switched to search mode and used to find people buried under the snow.
This is the GoPro tripod. It's 2 pieces of equipment we use today to film everything we do.
We learned a lot about the backcountry at Vail Pass, but we wanted to know more about inbound avalanche control. So we went to Vail Mountain to visit with Ski Patrol to see what they do to keep us safe.
Picture where you have Jake Glade over here, Bamboo Shoot, Genghis Khan, and these are just examples of where we would throw explosives. And I would run this with, say, 4 guys and about 10 explosives. The 2 guys in one pack right here, and another 2 guys in one pack going out here. And our weather station is right out here, where I was going to show you, we can actually see that it's blowing 34 miles an hour out of the south-southwest right now. Now it's hitting 40 miles an hour, 33 miles an hour. So those and the direction is right about out here, which is unusual for you guys. Normally it's coming from the west, right?
We went to Vail Mountain and learned how to use beacons with the Ski Patrol. This is us trying to find the hidden beacon.
Beacons are one of the most important pieces of avalanche equipment, but as we learned from Mike Duffy, knowing how to use your beacon is more important than simply having one. Here are the top 5 things you need to know about using a beacon.
After learning how to use beacons, we ran a boxed area with Rocky, an avalanche rescue dog. Following scene shows Rocky using his sense of smell to find 2 victims buried under the snow.
Find more.
After the mock avalanche scenario, we skied with ski patrol to a few areas on the front side where they control for avalanches.
When you're running this route, when two people are assigned to the Fritz's route, they'll start up here in the trees. There's one spot you throw a bomb there, you throw a bomb here, maybe two. And then this whole next ridge, it's kind of like shallow trees where it creates all that hollow snow and drifts out really easily. So we'll throw 2 or 3 more shots just on that. You know, this is out of bounds, but people sneak in here a lot and ski it.
Does anybody know what run actually comes down this gully?
They're on the move down
Lower Katie's.
Oh, yeah.
So there is an open run that accesses the lower part, and sometimes people will traverse in. So as we're kind of thinking about avalanche control and safety for the mountain as a whole, we'd like to think that our ropes mean something, and they do, but a lot of people don't think they do. So we kind of have to keep that whole image of what's going on, where trails intersect, and what people might be doing to get into those areas. And even though these aren't the biggest, it's not like it's Genghis or Alpha Lover's Leap, we're actually more concerned with these because of that, what Dylan was saying, the terrain trap features of all these slide paths. So it's something that we're thinking about more. Yeah,
that's a spitter. That's how we light our dynamite.
So that tram we have, it's connected by cable to a tree here, and then another one well up the slope on the opposite side. And since it's too dangerous for us to ski into Derrick and actually put explosives to do the control work, we'll tie them off here, and we'll kind of haul them up the cable and suspend them. And I don't know if you can tell, there's a couple treetops that were blown up in the process. There was snow here. If we were to take our skis off around this time of day with the temperatures we've had, say we had the snowpack like last year, we would have sank right up to our waist. Guaranteed. And the snow is just getting to that, what we were getting at earlier, the isothermal, so all the temperatures are the same, and they're getting ready to just kind of slide off the hill. And what we do with the explosives is just try to help that whole process along a little bit. When you were looking at the snowpack in your pits, you saw that persistent weak layer at the very bottom?
Yeah. Yes.
And that's where your roosh block filled, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's been there since end of November, really. It's been building, and December didn't help us at all, and pretty much no month this season helped us get rid of that persistent weak layer. What we did have was some pretty big storms that put a bridge on it, so it kind of packed in really well, and it was about 1.5 meters thick, and it kind of insulated that weak layer underneath it. So it gave you the false sense of security that it was good skiing. The only problem with that is if you were to trigger that very base weak layer, the whole thing would go with it. And then you'd have a very, very large slide, which they've had some slides this season in the Pacific Northwest and in Colorado and in Jackson that have been 100-year slides. It's gone as big as it can possibly go. And fortunately, we haven't had any like that in our area, but Eastvale had some monstrous avalanches
As you can see, Vail Ski Patrol has many ways of controlling avalanches on Vail Mountain.
Out of the tree well. Best day of my life. Mine too.
Is this thing on? Yeah, the red light's flashing.